It was bizarre to me because I'm like, my husband can go on stage and literally has a joke in his special about like getting a hooker isn't like cheating, it's just outsourcing, which I really don't care. Like, I think it's a funny joke, but it's like, if I say something that's equally...
You're not a comedian.
You guys voted him the lolcow of the year.
Where you at, Berto?
The Akaash situation just got worse.
People don't realize, like, I don't even want to say his name, but this loser whose name you said, like, he was on the Flagrant podcast like 5 years ago. And my husband just humbled the shit out of him and basically embarrassed him because he was like, I think what you do is corny and it's not really helping men. So there's that. I mean, this obviously goes without saying, but the misogyny was like really crazy because obviously we know it exists in our society, but to see it so rampant and like full force and just like unapologetically there, his comedy fans are not like that. It's more the podcast fan base that I don't think really resonate with him because a lot of them are like really racist and right wing. I think like those of them are more like that. But yeah, anyways, I said like those peripheral fans, like they might come at us just because we're brown girls being opinionated and they don't like opinionated women.
Just when you thought the Akaash Singh situation couldn't get any worse, his wife is back. He's still missing though. If you haven't been following, Akaash, the co-host of the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz, has been getting absolutely destroyed online for the last few months, and it's all because of his wife, Jasleen. She started a podcast with a friend, said some of the wildest shit imaginable about her dating history, her relationship with Akaash, her obsession with her friend's husband's cock, who she wanted to have a threesome with, and basically turned Akaash into the biggest joke in the comedy podcast world overnight. Myron from Fresh and Fit, who Akaash had been beefing with for years, went to town on him after Akaash tried to put him in his place years ago by shitting on the red pill community and using his pure and wholesome wife to flex on them. But then after Jasleen continued with her humiliation ritual, stuck the knife in deeper and twisted it, Flagrant tried to address it in what I called the worst episode in Flagrant history, where Jasleen came on the show, rewrote her own history in real time, blamed everything on being misunderstood, and somehow, someway, left Akaash looking even worse than before. At that point, Akaash was done. You guys voted him the lolcow of the year for 2025 on this channel, and the only sensible thing for
This nigga got voted lolcow of the year.
Jasleen to do was disappear,
Hell no.
stop talking, and hope everyone...
Imagine that being your legacy, bro, as a man. Niggas out here winning Oscars and all types of awards. You winning lolcow of the year. Jesus.
Everyone would forget about the whole thing when Akaash finally came back from tour. But no, she can't even do that, because just like every other attention-seeking influencer who gets caught out, she physically cannot cope without the spotlight. Instead of disappearing, she popped up on a brand new podcast this week to clear the air, and somehow in the space of 1 hour managed to make everything worse again. Except this time she's not just humiliating Akaash, she's going after his audience, his fans, and anyone who dared to criticize her. This is some wild shit you're about to see. I can't even get a fucking day off this week. Anyway, here's the thing with Jasleen. She has this completely confused identity where she flips between being authentic and tongue-in-cheek, you know, depending on whatever suits her argument at the time. 1 minute she's the trad wife who takes care of her husband and supports him however she can, and the next, she's the empowered woman who can say whatever she wants, and then 5 minutes later she's the victim of a coordinated misogynistic hate campaign full...
Oh my God. I want you guys to know that this clip right here is when he proposed to his wife. He proposed to her and this was her reaction. She dodged his kiss.
Minutes later, she's the victim of a coordinated misogynistic hate campaign.
Imagine that. Imagine buying your wife a ring, proposing to her. She says yes. You lean in to kiss the love of your life. Allegedly. And she does this.
Full of paid bots and comments. Yep, she's gone full Whitney Cummings here. But just before I go to town on her and rip her arguments
look at curving him again.
threads. If you're interested, make sure you check out the link in the description to my Patreon for all my longer form uncensored content. I posted 3 videos over there just last week, and I've got a bunch of videos in the pipeline for all of you who support me over on Patreon. So hit that link and get signed up so you don't miss out. All right, let's get back to Jasleen Singh. By the way, this might...
You know he clapping one on the side? I doubt it, honestly, bro. This guy has endured so much public humiliation without checking his wife and almost putting the blame on himself. I promise you, he loves this shit. I wouldn't be surprised if his wife was bending him over.
actually be worse than that flagrant episode.
If you enjoy gaming content, horror games, puzzle games, and honestly, even if you don't like games, you just want to see me shit my pants, head over to my gaming channel, Berto Gaming. I ain't gonna lie, I've been having the most fun I've had in a long time creating content while playing these games. Me and my team have been going crazy, putting a lot of creative energy into these edits for the game. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, link to that will be in the description. That's Berto Gaming. Where you at, family? I love y'all so much. Now let's get back to the video.
My question, because I've never gotten to ask somebody who was really on the receiving end of the internet in that to that scale,
Yeah.
like you were, how did you feel? Like it was
Oh yeah, she's clapping somebody on the side. She's clapping someone on the side. Definitely not him.
like a slow burn, but it really wasn't. It was like a firestorm. Like I had people hitting me, being
Yeah.
like, yo, what do you think?
Yeah.
Right?
It feels weird and it feels surreal because you're like, but you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. You've never talked to me.
But you've gotten on the internet and told us everything we need to know. You've gotten on the internet and literally said, before you met your husband, you were popping your kitty in college. That's what you said. You also said you had a roster of men that you were popping your kitty to. But then you told your husband that you were a virgin. Like, and mind you, honestly, it's 2026. I didn't even expect you to be a virgin, but it's just like you try to play this role as if you are this angel of a woman who is just, you know, abiding by the Bible or some shit. But you're literally the exact opposite. You are like a spawn of Satan. The exact opposite, actually. It's crazy. Just stand in your truth, love.
Like, you're taking the intention of this video in the complete wrong way.
What up, Uppy?
And I mean, this obviously goes without saying, but the misogyny was like really crazy because
Misogyny?
obviously we know it exists.
We were reacting to only things that you said. Where was the misogyny? The only things, everything that I just said was things that came out of your mouth.
In our society, but to see it so rampant and like full force and just like unapologetically there, I was like, oh my God, like this is a real fucking thing. And it's like, it was bizarre to me because I'm like, my husband can go on stage and literally has a joke in his special about like getting a hooker isn't like cheating, it's just outsourcing, which I really don't care. Like, I think it's a funny joke, but it's like, if I say something that's equally...
You're not a comedian. What? You're not a comedian. And then I would get it if she was literally on the internet making like comedy sketch type of content. Fine. But even then it's like, those are your punchlines. All your punchlines is like, how can I shit on my husband? Come on, man. I'll show the title. I got y'all.
You know, raunchy, like, then I'm a whore or all these things. When it's like,
fuck.
but the reality...
I just fucking cooked it. Bro, I hate when it does this. Fuck. My whole setup just got fucked. Bro, y'all gotta start paying attention when I put the title in the beginning, because sometimes when the full screen opens up and I try to do the zoom shit, it completely fucks up. I'll show it again right now, but mods, I'm gonna either need you to do a better job of remembering, because that should be fucking up. but it's all good. Come on, let's continue.
Reality is what the reality is. It's like I was a virgin when I met my husband. We lost our virginity to each other. And I never made that a part of my identity. I only shared that because I share my life story because I'm an oversharer. Y'all made it a part of my identity and then used it against me. I don't give a fuck if I was a virgin or I wasn't, or if my body count was 100, but it wasn't. Those are just facts. So if you want to take like tongue-in-cheek videos and make it into something it's not, like that's not really a reflection of me. That's a reflection of them.
If I was going to play devil's advocate for her and say, fine, people are blowing it out of context, but you do understand that you were the one that provided the information. You were the one that got on the internet unprovoked, and said these things. So if you are trying to compare yourself to your husband, let's play devil's advocate here for a second. If you're trying to compare yourself to your husband and be like, oh, my husband can go on stage and tell the jokes and, you know, talk about hooking up with hookers and it's no big deal. But then I tell a joke about hooking up with men and I'm a whore, right? You have to understand that as a content creator, as a comedian, when you put content out, it can be received how it's received. Like you can't sit there and then get butthurt that people didn't receive it well. You know what all that means is? You're not funny. You're not you thought you were a comedian, you thought you were telling jokes, but if I get on stage right now and I tell a joke and everyone in the crowd's just looking at me like this, yo, this guy fucking stinks, then I'm just not a funny comedian. So your jokes aren't landing, your jokes aren't hitting in a comedic way. People think you're serious. So you have one or two options. You either look in the mirror, work on your craft, and figure out how to deliver your jokes correctly, or you take some fucking accountability and be like, hey, get in front of the camera, like, hey, I see that y'all are moving like this and thinking I'm like this. That's not true. I was actually just trying to be funny. I realized that it's disrespected my my husband, and I don't want this to leave this type of mess from my image. But you never even once cleared it up. You just doubled down and kept telling us a whole bunch of bullshit. Now, if we're being honest, we can tell that you are only trying to backtrack now. You know what I'm saying? And you still have yet to be like, none of that stuff I said is true. Hey, man.
All right, let me break this logic down for all of you who don't speak influencer cringe. You don't know me. You've never talked to me.
The title is The Akaash Situation Just Got Worse.
You're taking the intention of this video in the completely wrong way. She's basically saying, love me, celebrate me, watch all my shit, follow me, give me all of your attention. But the second it backfires, you don't know me, you don't understand the real me, you're just taking it wrong straight out of the Joe Rogan playbook. Which is it? Because by her own admission, she doesn't even know the intention of her own videos half the time. She said repeatedly that she was being tongue-in-cheek, she was being authentic, she was trying to be funny, she was just trying to share her life. She cycles through these justifications like a suburban housewife who just got caught cheating on a fucking Wednesday afternoon. And now we get the misogyny card. This is some A-grade copium from someone who completely embarrassed herself, humiliated her.
I like that. A-grade copium. I'm putting that in my pocket, sir.
Her husband in front of millions of people, and instead of taking responsibility and quietly disappearing, she just had to come back with somebody else to blame. She's comparing herself to Akaash being able to go on stage as a comedian and say whatever he wants, and she's saying that when she tries to do the same thing on her random podcast that nobody asked for, it's somehow because of misogyny that nobody got the joke. She's not a comedian. What the fuck is she even talking about? The sheer entitlement from her thinking that she can just jump in front of a camera and talk shit into a microphone and somehow everyone should laugh and celebrate her unconditionally is some elite level mental gymnastics. And then she drags up the whole virginity thing again. I never made that a part of my identity. Seriously, nobody cares. It was your husband who was using it as a flex for years, and then you were the one who came out with all that content completely contrary.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like nobody expected you to be a virgin, bitch. We don't care. But you were the one that literally made TikToks talking about popping yo kitty for niggas in college. So obviously, when your husband's been running around saying that you're a virgin, you're a virgin, you're a virgin, and then you get on TikTok and say the very literal opposite. Oh, what I meant by popping my kitty in college was making out. What? That is an extreme jump. Appreciate the follow, man.
Predicting Akaash's characterizations of you, apparently for the laughs that nobody laughed at, or were you being authentic? Oh, that's right, it's because of the misogyny. This whole thing is just unnecessarily messy, and absolutely nobody asked for any of it. Akaash and his wife did all of this to themselves, and yet somehow, after all of that, she still manages to find somebody else to blame.
What people don't realize, like, I don't even want to say his name, but this loser whose name you said, like, he was on the Flagrant podcast like 5 years ago, and my husband just humbled the shit out of him and basically embarrassed him because he was like,
your husband didn't humble anyone. I don't think that nigga knows how to humble his fucking self. Who is he talking about? Who is she talking about? I ain't gonna lie. Akaash might be one of the biggest, like, I dare say the word, but it rhymes with yuck. He might be one of the biggest yucks I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Like, I think what you do is corny and it's not really helping men. So there's that.
What's he talking about?
And I think every year he would try to like bait them by being like, oh, you guys are pussies or you guys are this. But then every year that clip would circulate. And I think deep down it really embarrassed and humiliated and emasculated him. So when all of this first started, it was like very clear to see that there was like a lot of bot farming as well. And
unless she's talking about Myron from Fresh and Fit. In that case, I actually would agree with her. But not because of the things that she's saying, but just because in general, that nigga is a fucking lame.
I could tell there were bots because like the 1,500 followers I gained on Instagram, I immediately lost like within the span of 2 months. So it was like up and then down. And then like all the nastiest comments on my Instagram videos I didn't even delete. Like a month later, it was all no, 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 no. So it was like, it was starting to become clear that there were like a lot of bots. Which is funny because they say very racist things against Indians and South Asians, but like that's where you get your bots. Yeah, and there was something else I was gonna say, but I think that's why people were saying, "Oh, it's PR, it's PR." Like I would never, and my husband would never like have to do anything for PR. Like all of the traffic I got was organic before that. So I think
because you were talking shit about your husband. That was all the traffic you got. Nobody was watching your shit prior to that. Hold on, man.
He had like a score to settle, but instead of like doing it like a man, he did it like a little bitch and like came at me. So, which I never really thought anyone would do, because it's also like, if you have a certain like ideal of like, you don't want women working and you don't want them, like, wouldn't I fit your ideal? Like I'm relying on my man to provide for me. So I don't know. I just, a lot of their logic is backwards to me, but
she is talking about Fresh and Fit. That's what she's talking about. I'll give her that though. Them niggas are lames. Those niggas are lames.
Yeah. The whole experience was like very weird and unsettling.
Jasleen accusing anyone of using backwards logic is absolutely incredible. Like, I cannot believe she just said that with a straight face. And she's not even trolling anymore. She's being 100% serious. She's trying to clear the air here. She seriously thinks that she's a trad wife, and she can't understand why she isn't being celebrated for being the good wife who supported her husband when he was a broke comic. So let me get this straight. She's accusing Myron of humiliating and emasculating Akaash, so her response was to take it even further? What kind of fucking logic is that? Because whatever Myron did to Akaash, it doesn't come close to what Jasleen's done to him on her own podcast and everywhere else she's...
That's what I'm saying. It's like, she's talking all this shit about Myron, fine, fair enough, because when it actually is applied to him, that nigga is a loser. But she is part of the problem. She has treated her husband terribly. She has publicly embarrassed him so much. So it's just like a lot of the things she's saying is just coming off as hypocritical.
Been talking about her friend's husband's dick, lusting over other men, acting like Akaash's sole purpose is to buy her Gucci handbags and pay for her overpriced Pilates membership. The man was humiliated by you, not by Myron, by the woman sitting right next to him. And of course,
if anything, all she's done is give Myron and everyone else more fuel to shit on him. She is the problem.
oh geez. Then she blames the bots. The reason she lost 1,500 Instagram followers is apparently because of a coordinated bot farming campaign. Bitch, nobody knows who you are. It couldn't possibly be that she was the hot topic for 15 minutes when everyone was trashing Akaash for being a cuck, and all those people followed her out of morbid curiosity and then bounced as soon as the drama died down. Did she really think she was pulling off some viral social media growth strategy by humiliating her
Mind you, she said like 1,500. Like 1,500 followers on Instagram. Like if anybody got that, sure, you'd be like, oh, wow, I just got a lot of followers. But that's not a lot. Like if somebody was going to bot farm you and get you a bunch of followers or whatever, like it wouldn't be 1,500. Like that's not, nobody's career is going anywhere with 1,500 new followers. You know what I'm saying? Like that is just like, oh shit, I just got 1,500 followers. Nice. I'm not saying it's not worth nothing, but for you to think like that was about to be your big break, I'm getting this organic, like what? What are you talking about? Nobody's bot farming 1,500 people.
Husband, that's some crazy copium. She's turning into a cringier version of Whitney Cummings, if that's even possible. And now the only move left is to go full Joe Rogan and blame the mentally ill haters in the comments.
Discussing this topic with real people,
Yeah.
I've had real nuanced conversations about the topic as a whole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
Who is
probably
this
more
guy?
indicative of like the real world
Agreed.
than a comment section that's being paid for and bought out.
Yeah. And like, but I don't think people that are like regular internet users understand the extent to which it happens, and also how mentally unwell the comment section has become and what a cesspool it has become. And like, I will just be scrolling on Instagram and just see someone, like I saw the other day, this girl was like, oh, trying to become a model or something, or trying to get scouted as a model. And the first comment is like, yeah, but your face card isn't there. And it's like, who in their mind thinks like, this is what I want to write, like to ruin this person's day because it'll make me feel better. Like I personally, there's a lot of celebrities I don't like. I've never gone out of my way to publicly comment, whether it's on mine or a burner. I don't even have a burner. So it's like, you have to think about like the severity of someone's mental health, that this makes them feel better.
All right, so this is where it gets really good. The analogy she used of the aspiring model on Instagram is so hypocritical, it's almost art. She's saying, what state of mind do you have to be in to go out of your way to comment on someone's post just trying to humiliate them? This is the woman who repeatedly humiliated her own husband 100 times worse for absolutely no reason. Like, we're still trying to figure out why she did this. She didn't go after some random celebrity on Instagram. She did it to the man she's married to on camera multiple times. And she actually said the quiet part out loud there. She said that people who leave nasty comments do it because this makes them feel better. Every accusation is a confession with this woman, because that's exactly what she's been doing this entire time, making content at her husband's expense because it makes her feel better. It gets her attention, it gets the clicks, it gets her invited onto podcasts to clear the air. Forget going out of her way to publicly comment on celebrities, she did it to her own husband because, in her own words, this is what makes me feel better. But the worst part of all of this is actually so much more serious than the hypocrisy. Shout out Norm. She's coming back out of hiding to do a fresh interview, supposedly to clear the air, and in the process she takes a massive dump on the very people who are paying her bills. I'm talking about the people who watch Flagrant and support them on Patreon.
I think what happened was that we went through controversy so quickly into it that it kind of like put a strain on the friendship, because also like our content was very different in this. Like mine was definitely a lot more raw and unfiltered, and hers was a little bit more polished. I remember her saying, though, in Paris, she was like, my biggest fear is getting canceled. And I remember telling her, I was like, I just want to let you know, like, I know the periphery of Akaash's fan base, which is, I will say, more of the podcast fan base. And I know a lot of people during like our controversy were saying like, oh, it's because of his fans. It's because of his fans. Like his comedy fans are not like that. It's more the podcast fan base that I don't think really resonate with him, because a lot of them are like really racist and right wing. I think like,
holy shit. The levels of cope that she's going through to just be like, I fucked up. Like it doesn't have to be this hard. Why are we even bringing up racism? Like what? You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. You embarrassed your husband. Just say you fucked up.
those of them are more like that. But yeah, anyways, I said like those peripheral fans, like they might come at us just because we're brown girls being opinionated and they don't like opinionated women.
How many cards can she pull in the same interview? First, she was the misunderstood trad wife who was just trying to support her husband, by completely ruining his comedy career. Then she pulled out the misogyny card because apparently criticizing a woman who publicly humiliated her own husband is the same as hating all women. And now she's pulling the race card and the sexist card. She's labeling Flagrant's own podcast audience as really racist and right-wing. She's saying that the people who don't like what she did are just brown girl hating bigots who can't handle an opinionated woman. She ain't leaving a stone unturned here. Let me just be real clear about what's happening. This is Akaash Singh's wife going on a podcast and publicly calling the audience of her husband's own show racist. The show that pays for the Gucci, the Chanel, the Pilates, the fucking vacations, the whole princess treatment lifestyle that she cannot shut up about. She is actively torching the people who fund her entire existence. And she's doing it with a smile on her face because she thinks that she's the victim in all of this. She's blaming Myron, she's blaming the bots, she's blaming the misogynist, she's blaming the racist, she's blaming the right-wing podcast fans, she's blaming everyone and everything except herself. Meanwhile, Akaash is nowhere to be seen, and that's the saddest part here. The man has essentially gone quiet, probably hoping this would all blow over, while his wife keeps coming back for more, pulling every card in the fucking deck and dragging his name through the mud with every single interview she does. I said it in my last video and I'll say it again. Akaash Singh is the new Will Smith, except at least Will Smith's wife had the decency to do it to his face on her own show.
Honestly, though, I think Akaash situation is a million times worse than Will Smith's situation. The only difference is Will Smith is so much more famous that it's probably seems like a bigger deal. But I feel like, don't get me wrong, Will Smith went out bad. What Jada did to Will is, I'll be tossing and turning in my sleep if that were me. The level of disrespect she was throwing down. But like, I genuinely feel like this is so much worse. It's just that Will Smith is so much more famous than her and him.
Jasleen's out here doing a media tour, pulling all the stops. This didn't have to be like this. All she had to do was nothing, literally nothing. Stop talking, stop going on podcasts, stop trying to clear the fucking air, because every time you open your mouth, we can all smell your breath. But she won't stop, because this was never about defending Akaash or clearing up misunderstandings. This is about Jasleen simply needing attention. And don't forget, she's not making any money out of this. In fact, she's actually costing her husband big money by going after his own audience. And
yo, this is crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Man, I keep saying it. Like Akaash at this point, bro, I know it's gonna cost you some money. I know she gonna take some money if you divorce her, but you just need to leave her, bro. It's not worth it, bro. She's costing you more money staying with her. She's spending it. You know what I'm saying? She still want vacation. She still want, Gucci bags and Louis bags and whatnot. And she's, lowering your PR. So now people are probably looking at you as a bitch ass nigga, don't want to go to your shows. They think you're a lame. Leave her, bro. Leave her. I know the divorce is gonna be expensive, but I promise you, I think at this point, she costing you more money. You screwing yourself staying with her, gang.
Where you at, Berto? I made this shit look too easy.